This is the wrong way to hang your garden hose. And in contrast, this is the correct way. And I'm talking about the height here, how high you have your hose holder elevated off the ground. I've got mine just over shoulder height, which is pretty high off the ground. And the reason I say it's better is simply because it's less work to coil up your hose. I've got 100 feet of hose hanging here, and there's 1, 2, 3, 6, there are 9 coils of hose that I've had to make. And if this were down here at the same level as the one in my garage, there's easily 2 to even 3 times the number of coils. It's just quicker. So it's the lazy way to hang your hose. Taking it down is easier too. I can grab the whole bundle in one hand, which I would not be able to do that if that was twice the number of coils. And of course, if I only want a few, it's just, I take like, 3 loops and all of a sudden I've got like 30 feet of hose, which might be all I need for that operation. Now that said, this hose holder is in serious need of replacement. It's easily 30 years old and it's made out of resin or something. And as you can see, it's sort of collapsing. And I'm going to make a new one out of cedar. I picked up this 8-foot cedar deck board for about $19 at the local home center. It's 5/4 thickness, 5.5 inches wide, and as I said, 8 feet long. Should be more than enough. I made a rough plan in SketchUp, which is going to guide me as I build this. I'll put that SketchUp on screen now, and you can freeze frame the video if you want to get a look at the dimensions. And the first thing I'm going to do is take the board and cut a few pieces out of it because I need to glue up a couple of panels because I need to be a little bit wider than what I'm starting with here. Now, as you can see, there's these rounded edges on these boards, which I'm going to need to rip off so that I can have a nice clean edge for gluing it up. I do have a joiner, but let me just show you how you can just do the same thing on a table saw, as long as your board is fairly nice and straight to start with. From the store, the board is 5.5 inches wide, and I have the blade set to just take 1/8 of an inch off, so I've got it set to 5 3/8. The result is a nice crisp edge, which should give me a nice joint. And I did not bother ripping off the outer edges because those can stay rounded over. I am using an outdoor rated glue, but of course it's hanging on the side of the house and it's sheltered by the eaves, so it actually shouldn't get a huge amount of rain or other nasty weather on it. This is a fairly soft wood, so I want to be easy with the amount of pressure I'm putting. And we want to make sure they're staying aligned. So after a little sanding, we've got the back piece and the front piece that are going to stack together with some spacers in between. But I think first I'm going to go off script and I want to curve the top of both of these. So I've been playing around a little bit off camera, and I think say like 1.25 inches on each side. If I was good at freehand, I would just freehand it because, again, it doesn't really matter that much. Now, a jigsaw will work well, but I'm going to do it on the bandsaw. Then a little finessing on the sander. And then I'll just trace this curve onto the back piece to make a matching curve. And then I'm going to cut 3 more pieces at 5 inches. So I've got my 3 spacers, and I'm going to put 1 at each edge, and then another one across the top here. And I've been doing some measuring, and I think I'm going to set this one at about 6 inches up from the middle. That looks like a good amount. 2 5/8 roughly. That is essentially equal. I'm probably trying to overcomplicate things here, but I just want to have it nice and neat. I positioned it over the corner of my bench here so that I can get these clamps on it just to hold it in place while I get it some screws into everything. Here on the front, I'm sinking the holes pretty deep so that I can plug them later. And then carefully flip it and do the other side. And that is what I had in mind. I used a plug cutter to cut a set of plugs. Which I will then use to fill all the holes here on the front. It doesn't take a lot of time, and a plug cutter is not that expensive, but the results are really, really nice to have all those screws hidden. And then we can cut them flush with this flush cutting saw. And I think that looks a lot better than exposed screws. So I brought in the old broken down hose holder so I can get the mounting holes from it. I'm going to use a Forstner to countersink a little bit, and then all the way through. And that's about it for this simple little build. I'm going to take it outside and get it installed now. Being cedar, you don't have to put a finish on it. I'm just going to let it weather to a natural gray, and it should last for many years. Like that. Great improvement over the old one.